in the third part of our discussion, let's examine from a Quranic perspective, does the Quran give us a precedent of having a hidden leader? Because when you discuss the concept of the Mahdi with other schools of thought, it's as if they mock us and they make a joke out of this belief in a hidden Imam. What's the point of this Imam who's hidden, right? They always bring this up, and for them it's a joke. For a lot of them, I've even talked to them. Sometimes they just laugh at the idea. How do you believe in a hidden Imam? Is there any basis for this in Quran?
Yes.
Where? Al-Khidr alayhi salam. Dhul Qarnayn. But let's stick to the Khidr. Why? Because of the description of the Quran. Now the Quran doesn't mention that it's the Khidr, but do we have hadith that say it's the Khidr? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He talks about Musa meeting that very knowledgeable servant of God, who is the Khidr according to some ahadith? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes him in this way: فَوَجَدَ عَبْدًا مِّنْ عِبَادِنَا آتَيْنَاهُ رَحْمَةً مِّنْ عِنْدِنَا وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ مِنْ لَدُنَّا عِلْمًا. One of our true servants. We've given him mercy and we've given him from our knowledge. Now, let's say that's the Khidr. When Musa gets to know him and he does those mysterious things like making a hole in the ship, killing that young man, the wall and the treasure, you've heard of the stories. He was doing very important tasks on behalf of Allah. And he tells Musa, this is not from my own decision. Allah is the one who's commanding me. The Khidr, was he someone who was well known to his society and people followed him? Or was he a hidden leader or servant of Allah? He was hidden. Musa got to see a part of his activities, but for mainstream society, he's hidden. But Allah praises him in the Quran. And in fact, he had more knowledge about certain things than Musa. Musa had knowledge about Sharia, but about the natural, physical, supernatural world, Khidr had more knowledge. Because Musa tells him, teach me from your knowledge. So here you have a hidden leader who does things on Allah's behalf, yet he's hidden. That's the concept of the Mahdi. What is it more than that? You have a leader who represents God, who's doing things. Now, do you have to know exactly what the Mahdi is doing for you to believe in him? No. Did people know what the Khidr was doing? He showed Musa a little bit of what he was doing, but people did not know what Khidr was doing. But yet he was the representative of God, but he was in hiding. Same concept. So we have a Quranic precedent about having a hidden leader. That's one example. A second example, the Quran mentions some ghaibas or absences of some prophets. Yes?
Like Nabi Yusuf.
Nabi Yusuf alayhi salam, when was he absent?
Well, not absent, but his brothers were right in front of him and they didn't recognize him.
Yeah, they didn't recognize him. But we're talking about a prophet who kind of left his people.
Musa.
Musa alayhi salam, how did he leave his people?
Sinai.
He went to Mount Sinai to receive the tablets for 40 days. For 40 days he was absent from his people, but there was a purpose. There's a hadith from Imam Al-Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajah. He says, think about the ghaibah of previous prophets and what the philosophy was behind them. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have Musa extend his absence? To test his people. Which other prophet left his qawm, his people? Yunus alayhi salam. He left his people, got swallowed, then he came back. So we have history of prophets leaving their people. Yes, now sometimes it could be 40 days, sometimes it could be a few months, could be years. It doesn't matter. The concept of the ghaibah is something that we see before the Mahdi. Now, this is not something unique that happened at the time of the Mahdi. Yes?
Could Prophet Uzair be an example of the ghaibah too, since he was dead for a
Prophet Uzair, well, he was dead and Allah revived him. So I don't know if we can call that an absence. We're talking about someone who's like physically living, who has not died yet he's, out of the sight of the people. Yeah, that's more proof of resurrection, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revives the dead. So we have precedents in the Quran of prophets or leaders who were in hiding. Khidr has been in hiding for thousands of years. God knows how many years. Yet he is the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the Quran mentions his story, and he did supernatural things. He did things which baffled Musa alayhi salam. Musa is from Ulil Azm, right? Ulil Azm. Yet Khidr had access to things Musa didn't have access to. So he was in occultation, in hiding.
Is he still in occultation?
He still is. Al-Khidr still is in occultation, and we have hadiths that occasionally he meets the Mahdi. Yeah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the Khidr, He eases the loneliness of the Mahdi. We have hadiths about that. يُؤْنِسُ اللَّهُ بِهِ وَحْشَةَ الْقَائِمِ عَجَلَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى فَرَجَهُ.
I've also heard stories, and I don't know how sahih they say, that if you ever get lost, you ask for Nabi, for Khidr to guide you. So especially if you,
we do have some stories to that effect. But we do believe he's still alive and he's present on earth.